Goofball. Okay. That's Lake Huron, everybody. Come on, Daisy. This is fresh water. That's all. Why are you running from the water, Daisy? Oh. Come on, Goofy. Come on, Goofy.
Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Drunken Hubby. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, tap the bell icon so you can select notifications and be notified whenever I drop another video, and while you're at it, go ahead and slap that like button. So, I know I've been gone for the past couple of weeks. I've been dealing with a death in a family. I traveled up to Michigan to go pay my respects to my grandmother and spent some time with my family, doing some reconnecting and stuff like that, and bonding, and trying to, I guess, cope with the loss. So I will be sharing some of that and basically, I guess, telling you all about it. And I will be doing a review on alcohol. I kind of already shared some with some family up there, so it is already open, but I will be doing a review of the Fireball whiskey with you guys this week. Right here, see? It's been in my freezer for a little bit, so it's nice and chilled. Now, when you open it, the first reaction is that Fireball candy. It smells really good of cinnamon. And so, pour some in my glass here. It's so cold, it's kind of almost coming out like syrup a little bit. Alright, so before I drink this, I want to say cheers to my grandmother, Barbara and Jean Beagle. I hope you found your peace. You will be missed. You are a kind, loving, and gentle spirit. And I have nothing but fond memories of you. And I think the most prevalent memories I have of you, Grandma, in the kitchen, always cooking, baking. You're always having something for me to eat every time I came over. You never let anybody go hungry, Grandma. I love you and I miss you. And here's to you. So it does go down smooth. It is kind of a little bit on the thick side, maybe slightly syrupy, not in a bad way. It does remind me of the Fireball candy. It's not as spicy as people like to think, I think. It's pretty good, actually. I like it. Now, it is not 80 proof. It's not as strong. So I'm guessing that would kind of classify this as a liqueur. It says cinnamon whiskey alcohol, 33% by volume, which makes it 66 proof. Whiskey with natural cinnamon flavor. It's really good. So, past week, and well, I've been back for about half a week, but for almost a week and a half, I was up in Michigan, more specifically, Oscoda, right next to Lake Huron, which, by the way, is very gorgeous. Daisy liked it, but she was scared of the lake. I got to walk on the beach with Daisy, hang out with my aunt and uncle. By the way, if you're ever up in the Oscoda area and you need a little cabin to stay in, aunt and uncle, Marilyn and Chris, had these cute little cabins. They're called Lakeland Motel Resort. And if they've got some vacancies, you couldn't pick a better host, to go and stay with, because they're very sweet and kind. They'll take really good care of you if you're ever up there and they've got some vacancies. It's a different atmosphere up there. Got to spend some time with my cousin and hang out with him. I haven't gotten to do that, since his wedding. That's been years ago. Got to hang out with my brother. We went fishing, talking, played some games with my mom, and helped her out around the house with some stuff. All together, just everybody's just kind of coping, hanging with family, and eating together, and sharing memories together with my grandmother, or of my grandmother, with each other. Sorry, I'll get a little lost sometimes. The trip up there was grueling. I drove 13 hours from the middle of North Carolina all the way up there to Michigan. And I tell you, my hip was not happy with me. It was hurting the whole way up from my hip all the way down my leg. And then probably the last 4 to 6 hours, I'm slapping myself in the face trying to stay awake. Even though I got an early start. I was probably in West Virginia probably around 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I think that's about right. The car got some pretty decent mileage. I got 300 miles to the tank on that thing. So on the way up there, starting with a full tank, I filled up 3 times for a total of $60. And on the way back, this is a funny story, because my cousin told me that, hey, you got up here on only 15 psi in your tires. It's amazing I even made it up there. But on the way back, I managed to only fill up twice and get back with a quarter tank. So that's pretty decent. I only spent $40 in gas on the way back. But I had a lot more detours on the way back, though. It was ridiculous. There's like a couple of detours had detours. And I don't know what was wrong with my Google Maps on the way back. There's a couple times I was taking the direction she'd take me to go. And then all of a sudden, here, Google Maps, make a U-turn. But I'm going where he told me to go. And then there was a couple more where it's like, Make an immediate left-hand turn, and there's nothing but a mountain wall there for the next mile. Like, where am I supposed to make the left-hand turn at? But I tell you what, when I was driving through some of the mountain parts of West Virginia, I swear I thought I was back in Luzon, Nueva Vizcaya, again. I miss the Philippines. I miss Nueva Vizcaya. I miss Eritao. I miss my beloved. For all of you that are watching there in the Philippines is where my heart is. It really is. A beautiful land, beautiful culture, and I miss it. But yeah, Lake Huron is so huge. Seeing it in person, it looks like an ocean. It sounds like an ocean, but it doesn't smell like the ocean. The water was clear. And I didn't get a chance to go in it. I wanted to. So I wanted to get baptized, me and my mom and my brother, but with everything that was going on, it just didn't work out that way. But I got to ride bikes and walk on the beach for a little while. Funny thing, and it was the first time I walked up there with Daisy by myself. After my aunt and uncle, like, they kind of pointed, hey, you can enter the beach that way. And you follow the path they told me to get onto the beach. And I walked kind of towards my right up for a good ways, probably with 30 minutes to my right. And I said, okay, Daisy, that's far enough, let's go on, head back. So I'm heading back, and I missed my turn off to get off the beach and go back to my aunt and uncle's. To my cabin. So I'll share with y'all my cozy little cabin looked like too. But anyway, I'm walking and walking, and I'm not seeing my turn off, and I'm seeing houses that I didn't recognize. And I'm wondering, like, well, did I miss it? Have me a little bit more, y'all. So I'm sitting there worried. Keep walking and walking. Maybe I didn't miss it. Maybe I just don't recognize it. And I don't know why it didn't occur to me sooner than it did, but it finally occurred to me, pull out my phone and use Google Maps to figure out where I was. And so according to the Google Maps, I had walked the complete half an hour past my turn-off point. So I had to go back another half an hour, and finally found where I was. That's when I decided to kind of look for landmarks. But it was gorgeous. The way the sun was sparkling on the water, walking on that sand. I felt free up there. The weather was nice. It wasn't balmy. It wasn't sticky. It wasn't oppressively hot. It was pleasant. And the rain system up there was weird. You'd have like sunny in one block, the next block was raining, and the next block was sunny again, all at the same time. It was really weird. And there was one point it was raining so hard. I was driving my mom somewhere, and it started raining so hard that we couldn't see 15 feet in front of the car. I had to slow down. I almost got a job up there, but they're doing a whole mandatory vaccines thing, and for religious reasons I can't get the vaccine. If y'all have already watched some of my previous videos, you already know what my thinking is behind that. funny story. On the way there, I already taken Daisy for a walk, mind you. But just in case, I had this little puppy pads you can get from Walmart. It's like $20 for a pack of 40 of them or something like that. And I set it in the back seat, so just in case she had an accident, she can go in the pad. Well, Daisy tried her best, but I had the windows down because there's no air conditioning in my car and it's hot down here in North Carolina. I'm still in North Carolina when this happened. I can kind of see in the back view mirror, she's sitting there, she's trying to go on the pad, and then the wind, I guess, had a different idea, as the very second she starts to drop her poo, the pad gets, the wind blows it out the way, and it lands on the damn seat. And Daisy's looking at me like, "I'm sorry, Daddy, I didn't mean to, I tried." Poor, it's pitiful. But no, Daisy tried. She tried to aim for that pad, but the wind was like, nope. So I had to ride well, it wasn't whole 13 hours, probably about 12 hours, 11 hours with poops taking up the back seat of my car. It didn't help because during a good maybe 3 or 4 hours worth going through West Virginia, it was raining pretty good, so I had to keep the windows rolled up. That wasn't pleasant. Now I know what you're thinking, well, why didn't you just stop and clean it out? Well, because I was already facing a 13-hour drive. And I did not want to stretch that out any longer than I really had to. I mean, come on, would you really want to stretch that out? You don't have any money for hotels? I want to thank Emmy, my beloved, for really being with me in spirit and heart through this whole ordeal. She had moments when she was a little scared that maybe I'd forget about her and cling to my family and all that stuff, but Emmy, you're unforgettable. I can never forget you. I love you too much. You are my better half. For all intents and purposes, you really are. And I wouldn't be the man I am now without you. So I'm never letting that go. I'm never going to forget that. I'm not letting you go, my love. But, yeah, for the first time in my life also, you know, with Emmy's encouragement, I got to sit around the bonfire and drink some beer and just talk and hang out with my uncle and with my cousin. And for a short while, I didn't have any worries. I wasn't worried about making a work quota the next day. I wasn't worried about making sure bills were taken care of or anything like that. It was a nice cool breeze, a warm fire, some cold beer, and good conversation with family. And I'm thinking in my mind, like, yeah, I'm totally here for this. And I really wish I could bring Emmy to experience that. But, oh, speaking of which, drinking with my cousin, I don't remember the names. He let me try these two liquors. I guess they're more of a liqueur because they're really sweet, but they were strong too. The first one, he said, was like a Swedish or Scandinavian drink. It's like a peppermint liquor. I don't know how to describe this. When you smell it, it almost smells like toothpaste or mouthwash. But when you taste it, it doesn't taste like toothpaste. I mean, it tastes like peppermint candy. It was really good. And it was smooth. It wasn't rough going down. You know, I could drink that all day, and it was strong. I think it was 80 proof, or in the very least, it's probably about the same strength as this. And I really liked it. Now the other one, I don't remember the name of it either. It smelled exactly like absinthe, which, for those of you who don't know absinthe, it smells and tastes like either star anise or black licorice, which personally I'm not a fan of that flavor. I'm not. Ever since I was a kid, I just never really been a fan of that flavor. I just didn't really like it. But that particular drink, I don't know, something about it. It took me by surprise. It was sweeter than I thought it was going to be. And the licorice flavor wasn't as potent as what it smells like, if that makes any sense. It smells stronger than what it really is. Kind of like a dog whose bark is worse than his bite, I guess. But I actually enjoyed that, even though I don't like licorice. I forget what he called it. I'll probably look it up and put it in this video while I'm editing. But I hope to have some more of that. And then there was a cider that my uncle let me try. I'll look it up later because I forget the name of it. But the flavor was habanero mango, and that was actually surprisingly very pleasant. Yeah, it's a spicy cider, kind of a beer thing, but the spicy from the habanero complements the mango taste, the sweetness, and it's not overpowering spicy. It's kind of like, it lets you know it's there, but it doesn't take this whole show. And it's a type of beer, you don't chug the beer. This is one you take your time with it and enjoy it slowly while you're in the middle, and that's in the middle of a conversation. That's exactly what I did with my uncle, sitting by that bonfire, talking about what our ideas of what the future was going to look like, and different ideas of certain conspiracy theories and stuff like that, and whether we thought they had any merit, and then plans on coming up to Michigan. And he was giving me sharing me with his life experience with work and stuff. I was sharing my life experience with work. I enjoyed it. So yeah, I mean, habanero mango, that's something you definitely sit around the bonfire and sip and talk with your friends about and family. It was enjoyable. So the memorial for my grandmother, not everybody showed up, but I guess the core of the family did show up. Aside from myself and my middle brother. My youngest brother, he's got a baby on the way, really close. So I understand he wasn't able to come up, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You got your first baby on the way. You got to be there. And so close to coming to term, you don't really want to be traveling long distances like that. It's best to stay home and nurse your wife and your future baby. I miss you, Thomas, by the way. I hope we get to hang out sometime when you're not too busy being a husband and a dad. But yeah, it was me, my middle brother, my mother, my Aunt Christy, my Uncle Alan, Uncle Chris, my Aunt Marilyn, cousin Chris, which is Chris Jr., and his wife Wyneth, my cousin Wyneth. Yeah. Oh, and my middle brother's girlfriend, Lauren, I think. But It was a lot of food, really good spread, and I gotta give it to my aunt. She, even though she doesn't believe in what me and my mother and brother believe, she did go out of her way to provide some kosher meal options, food options for us, and I really do appreciate that. Aunt Marilyn, I gotta give you props, Aunt Marilyn, because, like Chris said, you have kind of been the whole hub of the family ever since Grandma's passing, with dealing with everything that's been going on and kind of being the glue keeping everybody together. So, Aunt Marilyn, here's to you. Yeah, for those that, it didn't matter what they ate, you had ham, green bean casserole, potato and mac and cheese casserole, something called a dump cake, which I had never heard of until I went there, which is very similar to a cobbler. They did an apple dump cake, and I loved it. I wanted to eat all of it. But I'd have got a toothache if I did. I don't know if it was raspberry or blackberry, but it was a cobbler. It was either raspberry or blackberry cobbler, but it was really good. And I loved that. And I ate both of those with a side of vanilla ice cream with them. Oh my goodness, I was in heaven with that. And then my cousin's cake, he made a cake. I wasn't too sure what the flavor was. I just know it was pink and it was sweet and it was yummy and it was soft and it was moist and it was really good cake. It was really good cake, Cousin Chris. What else did we have? Oh, Cousin Chris and Gwyneth brought, how do you say this word? Charcuterie board, whatever, the meat and cheese board. So we had this layout of different meats, which unfortunately were pork, so I couldn't eat them. But the cheeses, oh my goodness, you had brie, there was pepper cheese, and some smoked Gouda, and some, what was it? It was just some kind of cheddars, and just, oh my goodness, I grabbed every little bit of cheese that I could eat, and there's this different crackers of different types of grains, and they were really tasty and good, and I liked them. So I grabbed them too. We had chips, and we had dips, and something called some kind of pickle. I forget what they called it, but it was really good too. Pickles, olives, Clamato olives. There was meatballs, and then there was turkey meatballs, and the turkey meatballs were really good. Kind of had a sweet, savory, almost a umami taste. It was really good. And I think there was more, but I think I was more or less focused on like enjoying the company. And then we had the memorial in Grandma's house, kind of spread out between her kitchen / dining room / living room, and then there was a little hallway where we had more of the buffet, which I'll show y'all pictures of that later. And then the very front of the house was kind of like, I guess, Grandma's memorial with her ashes and pictures of her and pictures of all of the children and grandchildren and great grandchildren. Grandma, you were loved. But I'm sorry, y'all. If I cry on camera, I don't mean to. This is a very emotional time for me, so please forgive me. Oh yeah, up in Michigan they get this version of ginger ale. It doesn't even say ginger ale, it says ginger soda. It's a brand called Verner's. That stuff is so good. It's more carbonated, so you gotta be careful, don't drink it too fast. but it's more gingery in a good way. It's not spicy ginger, it's sweet ginger. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. Verner's makes Canada Dry taste like water. Yeah, that's about right there. And we had music too. Kind of an amalgamation of my grandmother's favorite musics, which, by the way, for those of y'all that don't really know me or my family history, a good chunk on my mother's side are Irish. So grandma kind of had like the Celtic Storm, Celtic Woman, and a lot of other Celtic oriented music. So it was really gorgeous, and props to Cousin Wyneth for putting that playlist together. It was really beautiful, and I thank you for taking the time to do that for Grandma. But yeah, I mean, even though it was a somber occasion, everyone had fond memories and had some laughs, shared funny things that happened in the past, especially with Grandma. And it ended up being an actual, true to life celebration of Grandma's life. And I think that's what Grandma would have wanted, is to have everybody there having fun and enjoying themselves. Please rest in peace, Grandma. Now, I won't lie though, something that's been sticking in my head. I'm saying, my brother snuggled up with his girlfriend, and my cousin snuggled up with his wife, and my aunt and uncle, they're married, they're snuggled up together a little bit, and sitting here thinking to myself, my God, I miss Emmy so much. And I do. That is my dream come true right there, be to marry Emmy. Either bring her here or me go over there and be her husband. That'll happen one day. But in the meantime, I'm going to stay strong and stay faithful. Now, I'm sorry that I don't have any conspiracy theories for y'all this week or anything like that. I know y'all probably been waiting a couple weeks wondering, oh, where'd he go? What's going on? You normally post every Sunday. Well, I've been preoccupied with what's been going on with the family, and I am sorry, everybody. I needed to take a little bit of time for me to kind of adapt and pull myself together. So that I could, I guess, process what's happened. And grieving, it is a process, it's a journey, and mine is far from done. I think the best word that sums it up would be surreal. It's surreal. Going to Grandma's cabin and she's not there in the kitchen baking, cooking like she almost always was. Or seeing her garden and Grandma's not tending to it like she always used to. I want to show y'all something. I'll be right back. So it was Grandma's will that all of her grandchildren would receive these little urns with her. So green was her favorite color, green and gold. And the tree, I think it was supposed to represent the tree of life. I know that Grandma was really big into her Irish roots. Sorry. My grandmother was one of the sweetest people you would have ever met. She cooked, she baked, she sewed, she gardened. She did everything to take care of her grandchildren and children, and she even did what she could to provide for charity, cooking for others that were less fortunate. I always remember that sweet lady that was always in the kitchen, cooking and baking. Always smelled so yummy and tasty. Whether it was beef pasties or cookies or a cake or a pie, Grandma was always cooking something. And whenever you dropped by to visit, Grandma always offered you a plate of food. She always made sure that you were full before you left her house. It's giving, sweet, and kind. I'm sorry, y'all, if I keep going on and on about my grandma, but I miss her. And if there's one lesson that I've learned from this, and there have been many, but one in particular that stands out is no matter how strong you think you are, when it comes to the death of a loved one, it will always find the cracks in your armor. That's some good stuff. Rest in peace, Grandma. You were loved, and you are still loved. It'll be many and many a year that we will continue to remember you and regale our younger generations of your kindness and sweetness. Alright, everybody, I think I'm gonna wrap it up right here. There's other things that I still need to do today, and I'm getting a little bit too emotional. I need to kind of get myself together again, and I really don't feel like YouTube is the proper place for me to be able to do that. Some things I really do think that I should keep private, and I guess part of my mourning should be that. And I thank you all for tuning in and watching, and I thank you all for the respect about what's going on, and I hope you'll continue to tune in for future episodes. And I guess I'll see you all next week. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.
Just a guy and his dog on the beach of the Huron Lake towards the end of summer. This Saturday, I have my grandmother's memoriam. She seems to be bringing the family back together. Help it to heal the rift that's been happening for, I guess, decades. Grandma would have wanted everybody to be together. The air up here is a lot different. It's cleaner, it's better. I went out to eat with my brother yesterday. Portions in the restaurant are more generous. Food is good. Had a family cookout yesterday. And for the first time in my life, I got to experience just sitting around a bonfire, enjoying a few beers and just talking. I didn't have to worry about what was going to happen tomorrow. I really wish I could bring Emmy here. She would love it. I love you, Emmy. I wish you were here. It's a beautiful lake. I see the bottom. It's clear. Daisy's never been to the beach before. She's scared to get in the water. I'm gonna try and get her going. You don't want to go in there? She said no. Come on. You want to go in? You want to go in there? Okay. No, y'all didn't get a video from Sunday. Sunday, I was driving 13 hours from North Carolina to northeastern Michigan. And that was a grueling drive. The wind was knocking my car all over the place, and I had to keep tight hold of that steering wheel because there's been several times the wind would have knocked my car right off the road or into a truck. That wouldn't have been very fun now, would it? But I'll get back to making the our normal videos soon enough. I'm still enjoying your comments and ideas. And I thank everyone for being patient with me while I go through the grieving process of losing my grandmother. And thank you for subscribing and staying tuned. I'm going to keep the content coming.